Hi everyone, welcome back to Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Today's video is my birthday book haul and I got quite a few books to add to the giant TBR. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name's Alice and I have way too many books, and in spite of that I continue to ask for books and get books for my birthday, and it was my birthday at the end of June, so it's a slightly belated book haul, but I have ended up adding at least one book that I got on a little holiday that we had directly after my birthday. Very excited to show you what lovely books I got and whether they're adding to my giant TBR or not. Some of these I had already acquired by the end of June, so they added to my giant TBR in my end of June wrap up, and others have since arrived in July, so we'll be adding to the July numbers. Let's start with some lovely books that my husband bought for me. I have already shown this one in a video because of its beautiful sprayed edges, and that is The Ferryman by Cronin, which I think I showed in my last video because the sprayed edges are super cool. Very pleased with this from my husband, and this one is by Cronin, who was the author of the Passage trilogy. Of that trilogy, I've only actually read The Passage. I do have the 12 on my bookshelf, and I never read or acquired the third book in the series, which I think was called City of Mirrors, but very much want to read The Ferryman. I read the blurb of this and thought that is definitely a book for me. It says that the islands of Prospera lie in a vast ocean in splendid isolation from the rest of humanity, or whatever remains of it. Citizens of the main island enjoy privileged lives, attended to by the support staff who live on a cramped neighbouring island, where whispers begin to grow into cries for revolution. Meanwhile, life for Prosperans is perfection, and when it's not, their bodies are sent to the mysterious third island, a facility named the Nursery, to be rebooted and restart life afresh. Proctor Bennett is a ferryman who shepherds the soon-to-be retired into the unknown. He never questioned his work until the day he is delivered a cryptic message: the world is not the world. Very excited to get to this. Sounds very dystopian, very post-apocalyptic, and yeah, I absolutely can't wait. This is a massive one, which is over 500 pages long, but I don't care. I'm very excited for this one. I just think it's going to be brilliant. So that's a very anticipated read to read soon. And so is this one, which was also a present from my husband, and that was Michael Rosen's poetry collection, The Advantages of Nearly Dying. And I really wanted to read this after reading Getting Better by Michael Rosen, which was an absolute favourite. Can't wait to read this poetry, which I think will be very good and very much about Michael Rosen's COVID experience. As well as those two brilliant presents from my husband was also kind enough to take me out for the day for my birthday, and we went to a place called Herne Bay and visited a bookshop that I've not been to before, which was the Little Green Bookshop. And this is a lovely bookshop on the high street in Herne Bay in Kent, and I got this fabulous little mini tote bag from there, and it was lovely to visit. They have also featured recently in a video on Lauren and the Books channel, where she bought her TBR for Cozy Reading Night in there. That was really cool, and I did buy 2 books in there, so which were also presents from my husband. So got the bag as a special treat. I also chose another one of these lovely little penguins to go with my Shirley Jackson lottery one that I bought last year on holiday, and this one is Big Blonde by Dorothy Parker. I've never read any Dorothy Parker. Also got a card from the Little Green Bookshop inside there, and they also had a stamp which I asked them to put in the front, which is very cool. So I don't know really anything about Big Blonde, it doesn't have a blurb on it, but I would really like to read some Dorothy Parker, and I'm not sure if this is a novella or if it is short stories, so we'll get into that soon and see. Lovely little book, really pleased with that one. And I also chose in the Little Green Bookshop The Launch Party by Forry. I hadn't heard of this until I saw it on the shelf in there, but I absolutely couldn't resist because it's a moon-based murder mystery. By the time I read this quote on the back, I had already read the blurb and decided that this was like a space version of And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. And the quote says, "The ultimate locked room mystery and out of this world, and then there were none." And that was a quote from Fiona Leach, author of The Cornish Wedding Murder. So this says, 10 lucky people have won a place at the most exclusive launch event of the century, the grand opening of the Hotel Artemis, the first hotel on the moon. It's an invitation to die for. As their transport departs for its return to Earth and the doors seal shut behind them, the guests take the next leap for mankind. However, they soon discover that all is not as it seems. The champagne may be flowing, but there is no one to pour it. Room service is available, but there is no one to deliver it. Besides the 10 of them, they are completely alone. When one of the guests is found murdered, fear spreads through the group, but that death is only the beginning. Being 3 days' journey from home and with no way to contact the outside, can any of the guests survive their stay? Very And Then There Were None vibes. Couldn't help myself but pick this one up. So another lovely birthday present from my husband that I chose for myself. And we also carried on from Herne Bay into Whitstable and went to Harbour Books in Whitstable, which is again a lovely independent bookshop. And I picked up an Independent Bookshop Week bookmark in there, and it was just outside of Independent Bookshop Week. Still supported these two lovely independent bookshops, and I do recommend that if you are ever like on the Kent coast, do come and check out both of those bookshops. So in Harbour Books I chose this book by Sarah Hall. I've read a book by Sarah Hall before called Madame Zero, which was a collection of short stories. They were really weird, but I really, for the most part, enjoyed them. And this one, I believe I have heard of a little while ago, but when I saw it on the shelf, I didn't remember that. I just thought it sounded excellent. And it's called The Carhullan Army. And this is another sort of dystopian, post-apocalyptic one, I think. It says, England is in a state of environmental and economic crisis. Under the repressive regime of the authority, citizens have been herded into urban centres, and all women of childbearing age fitted with contraceptive devices. A woman known as Sister leaves her oppressive marriage to join an isolated group of women in a remote northern farm at Carhullan, where she intends to become a rebel fighter. But can she follow their notion of freedom and what it means to fight for it? So this says on it, a quote from The Guardian, "The Lake District's answer to The Handmaid's Tale, the personal drama ensures the political gravity becomes genuinely gripping." I felt I needed this book in my life, and so I got it for my birthday. Also on my birthday, I did have some presents through the post from my lovely friends. One that is very, very bookish indeed was a present from my best friend, and she has sent me this gorgeous, gorgeous Women's Prize for Fiction journal. And I saw these at the Women's Prize Live, and it's just such a cool gift. It basically has a page about every single winner of the Women's Prize and a little bit about them. So here's Bel Canto by Anne Patchett, and yeah, a bit about them, and has some quotes from different various winners of the Women's Prize. There's also a very cool appendix in here with a list of all the shortlists and the judging panels, and I've decided to tick off in here which ones I have read, which is not that many so far. I think this is going to be a really lovely journal to write in, and I might keep a list of bookshops I've visited in this, other bookish lists. I think this is going to be a great book journal. And my friend also sent me this brilliant bookmark. It says so many books, so little time, and it's got a cool elastic thing so that your bookmark can't come out, so you can sort of strap it to the right page so that you don't lose your place. So I love that. Definitely going to be using that. So thank you to my lovely friend Cheryl and Wayne and Imogen for sending me that. That was a brilliant, brilliant present. I also received some lovely gifts from the lovely Charlie from Charlie Brooke Reads, and I'm going to put up a picture of the gifts because I have accidentally forgotten to have one of them with me, which was a lovely, lovely tote bag that I've been using ever since in case I buy some books, and I did use it on my birthday. And Charlie also sent me a bookmark, which is very, very beautiful, with all different books on it, and this is from the Bodleian Libraries in Oxford. Love that. And Charlie also very kindly bought me a little Ghostly Stories by Celia Fremlin. This is from a little collection called Faber Stories, with these little tiny volumes, which are really, really cool. I love these. And these Ghostly Stories by Celia Fremlin, who I've not heard of, it compares her inside this book to Patricia Highsmith and Shirley Jackson. And it says that she's a long neglected author who wrote short, sharp stories that threw women's lives into shiver-inducing relief. In each of these twin tales, a mother and daughter meet again, and an ordinary home becomes a setting for a return of the repressed. So really looking forward to reading those two stories, and it's a lovely small one to add to my TBR. So thank you, Charlie. I love that because I'll be able to tick it off quite quickly as well. And Charlie also very thoughtfully sent me Great Lives, Jane Austen, which is perfect for Jane Austen July. I'm hoping to get to this month, and I believe this is a biography of Jane Austen by Carol Shields, so I look forward to reading that and finding out a bit more about Jane Austen, especially now I have nearly finished reading all of her main works. So very much looking forward to this one. Thank you very much, Charlie. Also, on my birthday, I had some lovely gifts from my mum. My mum bought me two lovely, lovely books. One is poetry, which is brilliant because I'm wanting to read more poetry. And this is 6 Poets, Hardy to Larkin, an anthology by Bennett. And I had actually seen this on my birthday in the Little Green Bookshop, I believe, and thought, oh, I bet that would be really, really good because I want to read Hardy's poetry. I love Larkin's poetry, so it sounded like the perfect book for me. This has other authors in it as well: John Betjeman, W.H. Auden, A.E. Housman and Lewis MacNeice, none of whom I've actually read. So I can't wait to get into some of this poetry and see what it is like and see what Alan Bennett has collected. So looking forward to that one as well. Thank you, Mum. And my mum also got me Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy, which I've already got a buddy read planned for Victober with the lovely Nikki from Red Dot Reads. So very much looking forward to this one, very much looking forward to more Hardy, and very, very pleased that my mum got me this one as a nice surprise. So can't wait to find out about Bathsheba Everdene's story and hear about what I've heard is one of Thomas Hardy's absolute best. So really, really pleased with that. Thank you for that, Mum. And I also then, on my little holiday in Norfolk, I think I found this book in a second-hand bookshop in Cromer, but it could have been somewhere else. I'll put it on the screen if it was somewhere else. And I saw this in the window as we were leaving the bookshop, so I nearly got away with no purchases on my holiday, but I did not. So at the last moment I bought this. This one is a non-fiction about Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and it's called Conan Doyle for the Defence, The Quest for Justice and the World's Greatest Detective Writer by Margolit Fox. And this is supposed to be about a terrible crime that was actually committed in 1908, where an innocent man was sentenced to life in prison and remained there for over 18 years. And I believe Sir Arthur Conan Doyle used his greatest creation, Sherlock Holmes's techniques, to find the evidence to clear that man's name. Not sure if that's what it's about, but I believe that's what it's about. And yeah, I really liked this cover and I thought it sounded like a really, really interesting book. So I have added that to my giant TBR, and that was a buy on my holiday. I also had some lovely birthday presents from some of my other lovely booktube friends, and I had 2 lovely presents from the wonderful Emily from Novell Novels, who sent me Silas Marner by George Elliot, which I definitely want to try. I possibly will even try this in Victober if I get time, because this is, I believe, one of George Eliot's shortest books, and I really do want to try to get into George Eliot or try some of her work, but I just find Middlemarch so daunting and so huge that I don't know at this point in my life whether I will ever attempt it. So yeah, I'm hoping that Silas Marner will help me get an idea of George Eliot without getting too bogged down in a really, really huge book. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. Thank you for that, Emily. And Emily also sent me this absolutely gorgeous copy of The Body in the Library by Agatha Christie, and this is the facsimile edition of the first edition of it, and I do not have a facsimile copy of this Miss Marple book, so I'm absolutely delighted with this, and I'm definitely due a reread of The Body in the Library. Absolutely thrilled with that, so thank you for sending me that as well, Emily. And that doesn't have to go on my giant TBR either, because it's a reread, so yay! Adding that to my Agatha Christie collection. Very, very pleased with that. Next up, I also got a lovely present through the post from the lovely Danny from Danny's Book World, and Danny sent me one of the absolute top books on my wish list at the moment, my mental wish list, which is another book by Barbara Kingsolver, who has written my favourite book of this year so far, and she also wrote this, I'm told, brilliant book, Unsheltered. This is my mum's absolute favourite Barbara Kingsolver, and she has now read, I think, maybe 6 Barbara Kingsolver books, maybe 7, so really, really looking forward to trying this one, and I think this will be the next Barbara Kingsolver that I try now. So thank you so much, Danny, for sending me this. I cannot wait to read more Barbara Kingsolver. Cannot wait to read Unsheltered, and I absolutely love this cool cover with all the doors. And I also received from my lovely friend Gemma from Gemma Books. Gemma sent me 2 books as well, and I absolutely can't wait to read this one. She's told me it's supposed to be one of the best dystopias that there is out there. We know I love a dystopia. So this is Severance by Ling Ma. Now, I read Ling Ma's short story collection Bliss Montage earlier this year, and I really, really liked some of the stories in that. I thought they were really, really good. I actually voted it through to the next round of the BookTube prize. The rest of my group of judges, alas, did not agree, and it did not go through, but I thought they were very, very good short stories nonetheless. I absolutely can't wait to read more from Ling Ma, because if the short stories were anything to go by, this should be lovely and weird, really, really out there. And this one is definitely about like a post-apocalyptic type time. It says on the bottom here, a fresh take on both office politics and what the apocalypse might bring. The blurb says, Candice Chen is devoted to routine, her work, watching movies with her boyfriend, avoiding thoughts of her recently deceased Chinese immigrant parents, so she barely notices when a plague of biblical proportions sweeps the world. With a small group of survivors, she hopes to start society anew, but Candice is carrying a secret, a send up and take down of the rituals, routines and missed opportunities of contemporary life. Severance is a moving family story, a sharp satire and a heartfelt tribute to the connections that drive us to do more than survive. So can't wait for this one. Thank you so much, Gem, for sending me that. That looks incredible. And this one I am so excited about that Gemma has sent me. I think this is not going to be one that needs to add to my giant TBR, because it's not really like a cover-to-cover book, but it is going to involve some work from my little grey cells, some mystery solving, some puzzling. I absolutely love the idea of this book. So this is Myrtle, Solve 100 Devilishly Devious Murder Mystery Logic Puzzles. If you haven't heard of Myrtle, I heard of it recently. It's online. You can do a daily Myrtle as you would do a daily Wordle, and they are like murder mystery logic puzzles. So you eliminate suspects and locations to work out who done it, where it happened and what the weapon was, and they are really cool. It's great fun. I cannot wait to look at these on paper in a book. There's so many cool sounding puzzles in here. The perplexing problem of the parrot, a very proper murder, the mysterious mystery bookshop mystery, I like the sound of that, the art of the kill, And then there was another one. So yeah, I really, really like the sound of this. Can't wait to get addicted to these puzzles. So thanks, Gem. This is a brilliant, brilliant birthday present. So really, really pleased with that massive birthday book haul. Thank you so much to my lovely husband, my mum, my friends for sending me and giving me some fantastic books that I am sure I will really, really enjoy. The only problem is making me not want to read my July TBR, because I just want to get on and read my lovely brand new books that my friends have sent me. So do let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these books, if you would recommend starting with any of these books. If not, would you like to read any of these books? Are they on your radar? If you have enjoyed this video today, please do give it a like. Please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'm sure there will be more hauled books soon, because my subscription book from Mr. B's for the month has not arrived yet. So I think there will be more adding to the giant TBR before July is over, but hopefully not too many more. Fingers crossed. Thanks for watching today, and I do hope you will join me again soon for another video all about books here on Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Bye for now.